what matters most to you? I don't think so. And if I'm right, it is the state of mind most of you are in right now. Right? So take a pause and think deeply. Take a pause from your mundane routine. If possible, go somewhere, not to Himalayas for a meditation. Even Makrichi Reservoir, go alone there, clear your mind, take a deep breath, and take a deep dive in your inner self and think that what you really want out of your life. Next, and this is kind of an extension of the self-evaluation process I was going through. And especially in context of Singapore, it's very, very important. It's a huge issue. Right? We live in a very closed society. It's a tiny red dot. And the problem of the small society, closed society, is everything here gets sliced and diced into small fragments to fit this societal framework, including our dream. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But think of this. From childhood, we learn to look at success from a very societal point of view rather than from an individual point of view. Right? And think about 5C. I was talking about that. And you'll get the point, what I mean. Right? It's your success point is defined by someone else. Why is it like that? And we never get a chance to think what I really want. You'll spend most of your adult life in your workplace. It's 8 hours every day. And if you compromise there, nothing's going to save you. You'll have a really, really miserable life. So think very carefully before you decide what you're going to do. Now, it's from a more practical point of view, and people love charts and graphs and so on. So, inspired by Jim Collins, I have this framework of Venn diagram. So, if you can draw up that for yourself, that what I'm to really do well, that's a skill part. What I want to be, that's an ambition part. And what can I get paid for, that's a financial, practical part, right? And where these three circles converge, you get the point, what you should be focusing on your whole energy into, right? After you find all this out, write down a personal manifesto. Now, you guys are business school students, must be writing business plans every year in, year out, right? How many business plans, who wrote business plan here? So, quick show of hands. Right? Almost everyone. And those who didn't raise their hand, they're just lying. So you'll be writing a business plan. That's a grand plan where the Excel file graph always grows up. 5 years down the lane, you're making $50 million per month or something. Okay, so stop that, right? Write a personal manifesto. Just take a A4 size paper and write down this, that who you are. If I ask you a question, but really, such a basic question, that who you are, described in 5 keywords, will you be able to do that? So think about that. So write down who you are, what you really do, are good at, and what you want to be, and what is your value framework. What are the boundaries you'll never cross, no matter what? So write it down, fold it in 4, and keep it on your wallet or your fancy money bag or something. So, and keep it handy and change it over the time whenever you feel like there is need for change. So do that. They'll be handy. Well, next, gather eclectic knowledge. Now, eclectic is such a beautiful word, right? Who doesn't know about what is eclectic means? You don't know what is eclectic means. Ever had Cadbury eclairs? You know? Never had Cadbury eclairs. Where did you grow up, man? Okay. So Cadbury eclairs is outer side is hard and inside is soft Cadbury. So it's basically amalgamation of different things into particular one. So when you take multiple things and mix into one, where this line where they meet, that is eclectic. So eclectic knowledge means knowledge about different stuff, right? So, and why it is important? Rarely you'll find an enlightened mind which is single dimensional, who just think about one thing and one thing only. Most of the successful enlightened mind think about many, many things. They are interested about many, many stuff, right? So one of the key ingredients of success that be interested in many things, from Egyptology to hard rock, via Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Be interested, right? There are multiple benefits I can point out here. First, only an interested person can be interesting. And to be successful, one of the key criteria is to be interesting. Without being interesting, you can't be successful. Seriously, nobody cares about boring people. Yeah? And do you really? You always find them in your class and you never talk to them. So how can you be successful if you're not there in the class, you nobody talks to? So that's one. And second is, real innovations comes out always from those fringes that where two different domain or streams meet. From that fringe, the real innovation comes out. But these are really softer stuff. But the real hard thing, and I can give you some examples here. You never know what will come handy one day. Let me give you two examples from my life. When I was in university in India, I was spending very little time on study itself. So I was publishing one magazine and acting in a proscenium theater. So that time I didn't thought about coming to Singapore, running a company and all this blah blah. But later on, what happened? First of all, when I was publishing the magazine, I came across those layout creeds and typography, etc. I'm a programmer or a computer engineering by background that I studied. But when I joined the workforce, and that time the .com era was coming up, we had this bunch of programmers everywhere who really know how to code this web application or websites, but nobody knew that how to make it look good. And if you see those eras websites, you'll be seriously, all were coded by designers, and they really sucked. But I had some idea, right? So I had some idea about how to make the layouts, how to make use of typography and grids and stuff like that. So it really came handy, and I became project manager first in our whole group in the company I was working, right? Second thing, I was acting. How can acting be anything important? Look at me right now, right? I don't fumble where I should keep my hand. I make eye contact well. And although I didn't prepare at all for this particular presentation, I still can talk without choking here and dying on stage, right? So there you get the point. You never know what will come, so know a lot of stuff. Don't think if it is practical or not. Read a lot of stuff, useless stuff, yeah? And there is no pattern. Just pick up anything you like and just follow your heart. Right, now, get organized. I know life is nice and smooth now. You just have to manage your study and your boyfriend or girlfriend, that's enough, right? But things are going to get very complex and chaotic very, very soon, right? Now, get organized. You know, I wear so many hats right now, I even stop counting. Right? So, I use GTD method of David Allen. Anybody heard of him? No. Okay. You don't need it now, you'll need it later. So, David Allen, just Google it. And things in my iPad, Mac, and iPhone, doesn't matter what method you're following, just stick to one and start young. It means I wish I knew this stuff before when I was a student, I could manage my life better. So, stick to one and get organized. Now, this might look as a contra to the last point I just spoke, right? If you get organized, why I'm asking you to get comfortable with ambiguity? But actually not. No matter how much you plan or get organized, things change. And change is the only constant we have. Think about this. 70% of the job role today didn't exist 20 years back, right? You guys are going to retire in 2050 or 2060, and somewhere there, right? And we can't even predict what will happen financially, technologically 6 months down the lane. So go figure how much change you have to suffer through. So if you don't like change, if you don't like ambiguity, you're going to die. So be agile and get comfortable with ambiguity. That's a key, right? Now, be really analytical. Now, in academia right now, what you're doing, you are really analytical, and you have to do this live by numbers, drawing cute pie charts, and the graphs and 2x2 matrix, and that's my favorite, and all the time, right? But when it comes to actual work, you go to a workforce and ask your dad or an uncle or someone, they don't use analytical reasoning at all. But what happens? I don't know. They're kind of weird amnesia virus or something, right? And you pick up any bestseller business book from MPH or something, and you'll see for no reason whatsoever, this gut feel is get glamorized all over every time. Now, your brain is still more intelligent than your gut. So, be analytical, look at the hard data and evidence, demand hard data and evidence for everything. Try to find the patterns, try to match the patterns. And not only in business, but also in real life. I'm running out of time, I just cut short this, but I have to tell you this story. I did it very recently, I told this story to Pamela also very recently. That is, it was my 12th year anniversary, marriage anniversary. Don't think I'm that old, but I've married her. So this was my 12th year anniversary. I wanted to do something special for my wife, so I asked her, give me a list of 10 things of me you want to change, right? So she prepared the list, I photocopied the list, gave it back to her, and I gave the copy. So I asked her, now rank it from the most irritating one as 10 and least irritating one as 0. So she did that, and I did, on the other hand, the most easy to change is 10 and least easy to change is 0. Now if you actually take those two data and put it together, what do you get? A 2x2 matrix, right? And you can actually take off that right hand corner which are the most easy to change and most irritating. And not only that, you can prove statistically how much improvement in relationship you actually having. Right? Well, she didn't care much, but you know. Right. So out of all this, then execute. You know, there is no place for an idea guy. I recently took up a position in SITF where I had to hear this business pitch, and all the time you get this pitch, right? Oh, I got this cool idea. If I just get one cool programmer to develop this for me and one good salesperson to market that for me, I'm a millionaire, right? But that's not what happens, right? You have to have some skill. There's no place for idea guy. It's 1% is the idea. You really have to sweat it out with 99%. So focus on that. I'll be finishing here, and that's, I believe last time the Q&A was very cute, so let's focus on this. So that's all. Thank you. I don't know if there was any juicy part of that. I don't know why it was included in the introduction. There will be some juicy gossips. I don't know who said that. Who wrote that? Okay, no. Was that juicy enough?